All right, let's continue to the second half of the lesson. I hope you have some ideas about left-handedness after you finish the first half of the lesson, and you can find some facts and to know about the relationship between the brain and our use of hands. And we know some famous people are left-handed, and even though some lefties think that they are treated unfairly and they are considered widows, they should be proud of themselves because they are at the upper hand at some fields, especially in arts or in science, in languages. Well, but it's said that most lefties are gay, right? So a lot of rumors about the left-handers. So that's why scientists are curious about them. Okay, so we will start with paragraph 12, and the main idea is as the time passed by, left-handedness was accepted, but some countries have prejudice against left-handedness. Okay, uh, it is so unbelievable in the 1930s, in the 20th century. Uh, some teachers finally started permitting school children to write with their left hand, which means before that, before 1930s, most school children had to be forced to use their right hands. And remember, the trailer. Remember how the King George, the sixth, went through all the trouble, all the difficulties, and just because he was forced to use his right hands. Okay, so uh, we can feel the uh, trouble, or we can feel the anxiety of these school children who are who were born left-handed. Okay, then in some countries, until today, uh, left-handed children are still forced to write with their right hand. Uh, as we know, maybe in some countries in the Middle East, or even in China or in India, for example, in India, we know they grabbed food to, uh, they use their hand to grab food to eat, and they use their right hand. Okay, and if they go to the toilet, they use their left hand to do the cleaning job. Okay, so there are metaphorical meanings about right hands and left hand. Okay, so in India, I think if you are a left-handed, left-hander, then you might be considered a kind of dirty person, or even a kind of devil. Okay, all right. So in the last paragraph, the main idea is anthropologists find that in ancient times, the number of left and right handed people was the same, but the situation changed as time went on. Okay, we know what anthropologists are. Okay, they are scholars or people who study humans, and according to their findings, in the ancient times, 50% of people used their right hands, and 50% of people use their left hands. But according to their findings in Kenya, um, we know that the mark showed that about 11% of the earliest humans use their left hand. That is almost exactly the same as the 1 in 10 ratio today. Okay, what does it mean, ratio? Ratio means kind of proportion, right? It means in 10 people, uh, maybe one is left-handed. Um, okay, so we can see because the development of the civilization, okay, it is not a kind of human force to make people to become the right-handed. Uh, it is just naturally, all right, people become right-handed. And then in the next paragraph, the main idea is the association of the right and the left is caused by the majority of right-handers. Okay, as we know, all right, the word left came from lift, which means weak or even evil. Lift is an old English, all right, and not just in English, in other languages, for example, in German, or in Latin, okay, or in ancient Greek, okay, left, uh, or words related to left conveys similar meaning, okay, and then the word dexter in Latin means right, equaling to quick or smart. Okay, so in many countries, right was associated with good and left with bad. That is why in some languages, right also means correct. Okay, remember the joke. Okay, and this belief is still common in many countries today, and left-handed people suffer because of it. Okay, so left-handed people sometimes are considered widows, and some people, I mean, some so-called normal people, dislike left-handed people. Uh, they consider they are not natural because they are out of the norm. All right, norm means the pattern, or normal people, something that the normal people follow. All right, so that is kind of bias, and as time goes on, as the information spreads, and I think more and more people will accept uh, it's normal to be left-handers. Okay, the next paragraph. The main idea is uh, they are some famous people are left-handers. For example, okay, uh, Napoleon, Michelangelo, I mentioned him. All right, Beethoven, Newton, and Einstein. Uh, okay, artists and famous scientists are left-handers. And Alexander the Great, remember him? Uh, the great king of the ancient Greece, and because of him, the ancient Greek culture and the literature influenced the Western people, the Western world. Okay, and Julius Caesar, one of the important politicians in Rome, and the key person of building the Roman Empire. Okay, and then not to mention Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan. All right, Reagan was quite old when he was elected president, but he uh, was remembered by people. Okay, I especially mention him because I think young generations don't remember this person at all. Okay, uh, from this information, and we can see maybe a, a lot of presidents of the United States are left-handers. All right, and you can check it out in some archives, or just get online and surf the information. Okay, and then let's come to the last paragraph. Okay, the main idea is more societies are starting to accept left-handedness. Yeah, I mentioned this. Okay, because the information, uh, we get more and more information about why people become left-handed. Uh, it is not because of devil, is not because of the deficiency of genes or something else or some mysterious reasons. That is natural. Okay, all right. So since then, more and more societies or more and more people think left-handedness is acceptable. Okay, all right. So there are 2 points here. I want you to remember. The first one is an interesting test to know if you are forced to become a right-hander. All right. In this test, you have to do this. Draw a circle first with one hand and then with the other. If you draw the circles clockwise, clockwise means the direction the hands of a clock go in. You are probably left-handed. Okay, if you draw them anti-clockwise in other direction, you are right-handed. Okay, the writer says that the test does not always work, and some people draw one circle in one direction and the other circle in the other direction. But do not worry if you are left-handed. Okay, you are in a good company with a lot of other great people. Okay, so the conclusion is, anthropologists say that societies are starting to accept left-handedness. The number of left-handed people will be going up. That means you will be not alone if you are a lefty. Oh, okay, you will be not alone. Okay, because there is a special day, for those left-handers to celebrate. Okay, I need some people to tell me which day is so-called, left-handers days. Okay, all right, and in the last part, I want to show you a special way to organize the ideas or memorize the main points in an article. All right, that is a visual way. All right, to memorize things, organize things. All right, which is called mind mapping. Actually, there are different kinds of mind mapping. All right, then that is one of them. You can see here. Mind mapping is a visual way of recording or remembering the key information in an article. Mind mapping is useful as it helps you learn more effectively and encourages creative thinking. All right, 2 words are very important: effectively and creative thinking. For example, here, as for the main point of the left-handedness, we have 3 aspects. Okay, The first one is possible advantages and possible disadvantages, and some famous left-handers. And then you can memorize the, the details in this way. Okay. As for the first aspect, we know the advantages are uh, more imaginative, and the other one is can surprise people in sports. Okay, take a famous tennis player, for example. I don't know if you know Rafael Nadal, right? Who is quite famous as a tennis player, professional tennis player. You know, he is a right-hander, all right? But his coach thinks that if he can practice to use his left hand, then he might become stronger because he can use both hands uh, equally, and then he can, uh, you know, with both hands to uh, play the sports better. Okay, all right. So that's why he has 14 Grand Slam trophies. All right. So you know if you are a left-hander, then probably you can develop your ability at sports. Okay, and then as for the aspect possible disadvantages, uh, the first point is may see letters and words backwards. All right, I just told you. All right, they will see B as D and was as so. Okay, and then the next point is they may have a starter. Okay, all right, and then you know uh, how starter uh, has trouble, uh, when they deal with people, get along with people, and in their minds, they feel so traumatic. Okay, and then as for the aspects, some famous left-handers, I think it is easy to remember them because they are so famous. uh, Michelangelo, Beethoven, Newton, etc. And then Obama, Bill Clinton, etc. Because you can see them very often in the textbooks or in newspapers. Okay. All right. And finally, I will give you some other theories or some other aspects about left-handedness. Okay. Uh, I just told you there is a special day which is called Left-Handers Day, all right? And on that day, uh, you have the chance to tell your family and friends how proud you are of being left-handed, and also raise awareness of the everyday issues that lefties face as we live in a world designed for right-handers. Okay, and so that's why people wants to figure out why people become left-handed. And according to this article, uh, Stone Age implements discovered the same equally divided between left and the right, and studies of cave drawings have indicated a preference for the left hand. Okay, and when tools became more sophisticated, a clear hand preference emerged. The right hand preference may have originated in some worship. Okay, then let me explain this. In the northern hemisphere, You have to face south to follow the sun and move from left to right until the sun sets in the west. This gave moving to the right and the right hand side a great significance. Okay, now you can do the experiment and then you know what it means. All right, and another theory is about okay, our heart is on the left hand side, and a shift would have to be in the left hand to defend it, and any weapon therefore have to be held in the right, which became the dominant hand. Okay, I think it's reasonable. And recent reason have included one that right-handedness is normality and left-handedness is a deficiency which results from traumatic birth. Well, okay, we have to wait for more evidences to prove this kind of theory. All right, and then the next one is that handers have done quite badly over the years, and many old superstitions still survive today because they are out of known, just as I said. Okay, if you are minority, right, don't think the world will treat you fairly. All right, so you can see uh, the picture I show you. All right, in some countries or for some group of people, left hand left-handers are considered very strange or even widows. Especially, Christianity is strongly based towards the right hand, and it is the right hand that gives the blessing and make the sign of the cross. All right, and on one count, okay, the Bible contains over 100 favorable reference to the right hand and 25 unfavorable references to the left hand. I can give you some examples. Uh, the first one, the right hand of the Lord does valiantly. Valiantly means, bravery, uh, prowess. Okay, and then the right hand of the Lord is exalted. Okay, exalted, which means to be praised. All right, and then the left hand does worst in the parable of the sheep and the goats. Parable means the stories. And then the sheep are set on the Christ's right hand and the goats on the left. Uh, okay, remember that's the saying about black goat, right? Black goat means, you know, um, not welcome person in the family or the troublemaker in the family. Those on the right inherit the kingdom of God, while those on the left depart into everlasting fire. All right, and the last one, the devil is nearly always portrayed as left-handed, and the evil spirits look over the left shoulder, which is why you throw spilled salt. Spilled salt is kind of ritual to, you know, scare away the devil or scare away the ghost. Okay, over your left shoulder to ward them off. From the statements, you will see how left-handers are were treated, and after you learned more about handedness, don't look at them in a strange manner. And if you want to find out more, from the statements, you will see how left-handers are were treated, and after you learned more about handedness, don't look at them in a strange manner. And if you want to find out more interesting information about lefties, check out the materials I gave you, and I think you will enjoy the footage very much. See you next time.